As always, welcome to Shays Insights. I'm so glad you're all here. And boy, it's December already. Oh my goodness, I can't believe it's already here. I thought it was January. So anyway, it's just things are just moving on. Just my opening comments aren't a lot. Just things are moving along. The energies have are still building, but some of the chaos is in the world is settled a bit. So that's a good thing. And I just know that all of us are, we're in the holiday season, the Christmas season, and this is a big deal. Kay used to talk about it a lot. In heaven, this is a huge event. Christmas is, as you might expect, all kinds of things happening, events going on up there. So just amazing. So you get a chance to go have a peek during your meditations, I recommend it. So with that, shall we begin? I'm going to start in my normal way, and I think I already know what Pat is going to say, but I just think I'd like to offer you the first chance to speak and share or ask any questions. Or do you want to pass?
I'm going to pass for now. Thank you, Jeff.
All right. Well, I was thinking maybe you'd surprise me or something there. Boy, Paula, how are things going with you and all that? I know you're probably very busy.
Well, thanks. Hi, everybody. Busy as with the same usual stuff, but spiritually, I agree, Jeff. Things have really kind of come to a middle ground. It's not, the energies aren't as high or low. They're really settled into the middle, it feels like.
Yeah, and there's reasons for that, but yeah, continue.
Yeah.
What else have you noted? What else
I
have
would
changed?
I would just say that with them settling, I seem to be very content, um, with just being content.
Yes, yeah, and this is this is a calm period in it, and this is the season for it. A lot of things happen during this season for people, especially with those on the spiritual path, which we all are. Um, some openings come in. The new energies of the new year start to come in already. You can probably start to begin to feel the beginnings of it, the waves of it coming in. It feels like a refreshing energies for this year for us, from the divine for our spiritual path. So I'm always excited to see what shows up, and I never seem to know what it is. I, I might have this sense that it's going to be this, that, or the other thing, and then all kinds of things come in that just appear into our lives, Deborah, myself, or just all of you, and it's always interesting to hear, but it's rarely what I think it's going to be. So I tried to not get into that business of trying to figure out what God's going to do next. So, so yeah. Well, thank you, Paula.
Absolutely. And I
Yeah.
really don't have even a question. Um,
Yeah.
my highest self did just say, when I mentioned about being content to be content, I heard a giggle and hold on because next year is going to be a whole different thing.
It is, and just so you know, I think for everybody in a very positive way, we've gone through, we all do societies and in our soul group and us individually, we go through these periods where we have, you know, growth, challenges, integration, just all kinds of things, physical stuff, spiritual stuff, you name it, the whole gamut. And it feels like this is a time for growing. Um, it has kind of the next new year, although I think we always have some challenges in our life, a lot more spring energies in it, if you know what I mean. A lot more, yeah. Um,
What's
so
interesting when you said that is I kept seeing new blossoms, like springtime blossoms, and hearing blossoming. Everyone will begin blossoming. So,
yeah, and I think this is the time. It looks like, I don't think that's not the right word. It looks to me what they're showing me. This is the time for it. And of course, I'm a firm believer when the divine and God hands us opportunities, it's up to we have to take them, but they're there for us to explore and to grow into them. So, yes, thank you so much for reminding us. Yes, thank
so
you.
I'm just happy to sit and listen tonight. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I always like to hear what people have to say because just the things that are going on are amazing. Jessica, hello there. do you have anything to share? Anything, questions, anything at all? We'd love to hear it, especially, moving into December here.
Hi, everyone. Um, so yeah, the energies have changed a lot. But there's still, I don't know, there's a lot of uncertainty, I feel like still.
Mm-hmm.
And especially in my life because I'm still, searching for a job and
Yes.
I'm not having much luck so far.
Yeah. And right now, I think as we talked about it last time, you're in that process of, I would say, an intersection with an employment opportunity. I won't say that things aren't going to happen during December because they can. Typically, they happen into the new year a bit more. Just the energies, just businesses and people are busy, doing the holiday thing, trying to handle that sort of stuff. Except for, like department stores that do part-time hiring, for what you're looking for, it typically happens after the new year a bit more, if it hasn't happened, before then. But I can't completely definitively say that because there's a coworker I have at work, and she had, out of the blue, just an opportunity, was not expecting it, didn't know it was coming, didn't even know it was out there. And all of a sudden she made let it be known what her background was, and that's what the new prospective employer was going to wait a while to hire that new position, but suddenly just said, you know what, this is a good time to do it. So I would say keep looking and keep doing the things that you're doing, because you never know when the opportunities are going to be there.
Okay. Well, it feels like when I'm applying places, like I don't know if I'm just not putting the right things on my resume or they're, what they're looking for, but it seems like I don't even know that they look at them. Like, I don't know if I just get weeded out like right away because I don't have a word on there or
I'm not sure why that is. I mean, I think that they take them, they're not doing a lot with them. And one of the things your high self just said is, have you asked them what they're looking for? Ask someone there at the place, what kind of things what is it like? What are they looking for? Who's their ideal candidate, kind of a thing. And maybe not necessarily from the hiring people, just a thought. Just inquire, and try to do some stealthy inquiring as to, casual, I guess not stealthy, casual inquiring as to what they're looking for. Not, whether you whether you get the position or not, you let them know, whether I get it or not, just what kind of things are you looking for? And that'll give you an idea. You're definitely qualified, so I want you to know that part. And if anyone else has any thoughts, please chime in. Please do say something. But that's one thing she says is to do. Some of that times that informal thing is the thing that gets you the job.
well, right, but I don't know if I just have to just go into places then and not do anything over the internet because that's where they're usually posting. So,
Yeah, and what I think she means is to contact them. Do your
all right,
submission on the internet, but also contact them. And I will tell you, it's funny she said that because that's the very thing I do. When I'm looking for something, I'll contact them. I'm absolutely not shy. Call them, and what my thought is, at the what can happen. I'm not employed with them. Well, I'm not employed with them now, so there's absolutely everything to
right,
gain and nothing to lose. Um,
right.
but do it. That's what she said. She said do it casually, and that's the word she keeps using. Kind of a casual conversation. And I can share one anecdotal, and this is from years and years ago. I went to a conference. It happened to be in San Francisco. Not that I wanted to go to San Francisco because that was hilly. I had to walk. Walking down the hill wasn't so bad, but walking back up that hill, the one there in San Francisco, Oh my
Oh,
goodness
yeah.
gracious. That was, I got my workout that day. But anyway, I was in the thing and I was just talking about what I do and just having this casual conversation. And there's all kinds of people there, employers, employees, just people that are working that have to get their CPE credits and all the rest of that. And I mentioned something and they said, hey, you should go talk to so and so. So I talked to them at lunch. The next thing you know, they want to offer me a job. Now, at the time, I was still in the Navy. I couldn't just say, well, goodbye, Navy. I have to, I had to finish
Right.
my obligation. But it opened up, get this, a job for my wife because we had similar
Nice.
backgrounds. So I think that's what she means, that networking, casual stuff, and not expect every conversation right then and there is going to bear fruit, but letting it know who you are and how you are and being your positive, uplifting self. Um, because and then when they have a resume, they'll say, hey, yeah, we talked to her. And
Hmm.
but I think it looks like I won't say things again aren't going to happen right now, but it feels like we're moving into the lull of the Christmas season a little bit. Um,
Okay.
so I'm not trying to be a downer here, but I feel that's what it feels like. But it feels like it's going to start opening in January, um, and it's what I'm getting from the universe is for you to be. I don't want to use this is my word. That's not the universe's word. Not only submit yourself, but be. I'm using hearing the word aggressive, but being assertive. I'm going to use that word, assertive,
Right.
and going out there and doing that. And it's going to take a bit of work, but I think as you do it over, don't stop and just keep doing that. It's going to bear fruit, and probably unexpectedly. You know,
Okay.
something that it looks like it wasn't going anywhere. Next thing you know, something comes up. Anyway, something along that lines. So. Anyway, hang in there. It's there's things there waiting for you, but I think it's going to again, I agree with your high self. I think it's going to take a bit of work.
Jeff, I also, Jessica, this is Paula. I felt
Hi.
energetically like you've got a bit of a block there about, and I realize when you're looking for work and not getting it, it is energetically hard to stay lifted up. But it feels energetically like there's something there maybe you can clear about having not gotten something yet, because it feels like you're carrying that into your resumes without you even realizing it, like almost putting a wall up before they even get the resume. I
Okay.
don't know if that makes sense, but energetically it just feels like a little clearing around not having found something yet would be beneficial.
I'm glad you said something, Paula, because you're. I would agree with you, and it has to do with unworthiness. It's a block in the subconscious it has from the child self, and it's something that you can get. And once you know the beauty of any of these things, I'm glad Paula brought that up. So thank you again. But once we're aware of it, it kind of starts diffusing it.
Right.
It's like when somebody says, hey, are you frightened? It's like, hold on, I guess I am a little bit startled or something. And then all of a sudden, that startledness or the whatever it is, that emotion dissipates because, oh, now I'm worried. Oh, what am I doing? And yeah, I agree with that. That is a true statement. And it is a bit of a block there. So I'm glad Paula brought that up. It's wonderful. And you
Okay.
can clear it. And I'd say just go into meditation, work with your child self a little bit, and in whatever way you do that, and she's going to be receptive to it. And
Okay.
all right.
Well, I had so I don't know if this is when I'm doing my resume, just because I'm not like, 20 anymore, I'm
Hmm.
wondering if I should just take off some of the dates on my resume.
Yes, that's one of the things, and I'm guilty of it myself. Too much stuff on there. And there's a website out there for people who just do work remotely. It was a remote way. I'm trying to remember the name of it, and I subscribed to it for a year. Nothing really came of that, but what they have is they have really good forums, live forums, and they talk about how to make your resume make you as positive so that you don't have age discrimination going on. And they say to go back, no more than 7 years, 10 years max, but 7 years, 4 or 5 years, and then you can have additional skill sets, and you can put that in there, and very quickly just talk about the skill set associated with the job, but not the job itself. so that that way they're open to hearing from you. And once you have a chance to actually have the interview, as we all know, that's where the rubber hits the road, and where they may have been reluctant before. They may say, "Hey, this is exactly the person I want to hire, Jessica. She's it." So,
Okay.
yes, yes, I got that from your other guides. They concurred with that. So,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. That's more helpful. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you again, Paula. Good jumping in.
Yes. Thank you, Paula.
Yeah. Yeah, because these little energetic things they can be really small, but they
Yeah.
could get, it really can become a thing that the other person picks up on, they don't even know it. So,
Yeah. And derails the whole thing.
yeah. And now that you've got it, so anyway, wonderful. And next month when we talk some more, I know it'll just be the beginning, but we'd love to hear more about what's going on.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Tonya.
I'm hearing mid-January
Oh, okay.
timing, and it's mid-January.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you. Yeah, definitely I'm just one last point on that. I definitely do that, and I got it from being in just, I don't know if it was the Navy or whatever, where because you apply, believe it or not, you have to apply for jobs there too, even though you get orders and things. If you want a particular thing, you've got to go out and do it. And I'd go call the people up, and say, "Hi, this is me, and do I fit? What do you
Yeah.
want?"
What
And
do you want?
and they'd say, "Really?" I said, "Yeah, I'll apply for it. I know you're gonna have other candidates, and so anyway, this is who I am, and you guys have a great day," and left it at that. So,
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Well, thank you, Jessica, again. That is, I love to hear the things that are going on, because there's always this spiritual aspect of it, this energetic one, and sometimes it can be a block, but other times it can be really positive energy moving towards something at the same time, and that can flip from a block to a positive so quick you don't even know it. So, yeah.
Right.
All right,
Okay.
Tonya. Let's move on and see what Tonya has to say. Anything at all? Anything? Share what you have. Any questions? Anything at all?
Yeah, I do. I have two things. I'll see if I can explain this the best I can. You should probably pick up what I mean. But last week I had an experience, and I don't know, I guess it's like a similar mind frame that you would be in when you're meditating or something like that. But I had this experience. I wasn't meditating or doing anything like that, but it felt like everything broke, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
Kind of almost like if there was a cloud around me or negativity, or it's kind of like everything broke, or I broke through to the other side or something like that, which kind of goes to the second part of it feels like it shifted and changed, but then at the same time, like kind of currently and just things going on today hasn't really been a good day, but um it feels like everything that I'm working for and toward is just out of reach. And it's
Okay.
not coming to fruition. And it's kind of frustrating to be honest, but so kind of those two things together, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and although it feels, I mean, it can be overwhelming emotionally, and it feels, these things when they come up like this, it feels like it's just we're overwhelmed with them, immersed, and what it is, and although going through this isn't a positive thing, the fact that you're letting go of it is. You have this wave, and I've seen Deborah just had some of this. I had one of my own little mini versions of it come up, but you had a pretty big one of we have stuff come up all the time, and it comes up, we become aware of it, we have feelings, we have thoughts, awarenesses, and it comes and goes. We let it go. And that, again, we've talked about it many times because there's a piece of us, of our subconscious, an aspect of our being that holds on to what's being released or what's coming up, and it wants to hold on to it. And then you experience that through your field. And it feels like this old stuff is how it is now. And I'm here from your high self to remind you, she wants you to know this isn't who you are, and this isn't really what the situation is. It's stuff from the past, but it manifests into our current life, and it will, as the energetically becomes part of our field, it'll show up out there because we're interacting with the energies and we're acting upon it non-consciously, and it shows up, looks like, oh my goodness, everything's going awry. What it is that this is stuff that has to get gone. It's a big clump of it, big wave, I'm going to say. I'm just seeing a whole bunch of it coming up together, like a bag of, like a black bag of old baggage, garbage stuff. I don't call it that, but it's just old negative stuff. It's come up. Many facets of it are into your system right now, and you're experiencing it. It has to be released because for where you're going, these energies can't be with you anymore. You've been able to hold on and be there for a while and been able to do things and move on because they were buried far enough down. But the time is now for them to come up. And it's going to be a little period for it to get through because it's heavier stuff. But it's going, and to the best of your ability, just know that. Let it go. Keep your eye on where you want to go, even though you emotionally it feels like, sometimes we feel like all is lost. It is not. It's just that's the energies of before, of those situations being manifest into your current emotional body. And that's what you're experiencing. And it's going to, of course, manifest into as we non-consciously act upon it, we can bring that into our present. But if we know that that's what's happening, then we can let it go and bless it and kind of ride through the storm a little bit and let it go. And then the daylight, when the sunshine, the sky's clear again, it's going to lighten you and those energies so that you can move on and do the things that the direction you're heading. That's why it's happening in the first place, is because you are on the direction you are. And this had to go for it to be there, for you to do what you need to do. And this just most recently happened again with Deborah last month. And with her, everything shows up in the physical level. All these energies from past life stuff and events that are coming up, mainly they get released, but sometimes they don't, and they show up in her environment, in events, and it shows up in her physical body in her knee hurts, or she has this problem or that problem. And so she's processing through that. And it doesn't surprise me this is happening now, because we're moving into the time of the birth of light, where we start the new energies coming in. And this is all part of the cycle of our life path, because we're here on earth, we're part of this creation, and that's what's happening with you. So all I can say is I'm not making light of it at all. I know that it's really, it's a real, I don't know, just heavy, emotional, and just know it's not about, it feels broke because that's what was in the past. It's going to be released. It's being released so that you can continue moving on the path you're on. So, and just again, ride through this little bit of the squelch, this storm, and it will pass. And it's going to be around for a little while. It's not like a day or two. It'll be for a few. It could be within a couple of weeks or more. 3. It will start to lighten, and it will and you'll start feeling some of the brighter energies coming in, and you'll begin becoming inklings of opportunities that are aware that seemed like they weren't as you feel right now. So I know I'd like to tell you it was going to go away a little quicker than that, but that's just the speed at which it's operating.
Right. As much as we want things to happen now, I understand that there's a process and you can't rush it. But
yes, but what I'm really seeing, and I'm going to, again, I feel like I'm a broken record sometimes, but it bears worth repeating. everyone here, the people that are on the committed spiritual path, this is the lifetime in this soul group period that we're in during this. I think of it as a spiritual renaissance, all these high energies coming in. And this period will, at some point, wane a bit more, and things, things will still happen, but we're just in this wonderful time. Those of us who have chosen to be here during this time, one of the reasons for many of us to do this is we've had this long stretch of time where we've dealt with all these different strata, or you could say the spectrum of things of existence. And now it's time, we're done with it. You're done with it. It's time to move up. And everyone on this Zoom session here, that is true of all of you. And so what we're doing for that to happen, these things come up, coincide with the energies coming up in the events of our soul group. But long story short, this is the time for it to happen, to be released, so those heavier frequencies are gone. The higher ones can come in, the newer connections can be made, and you can continue on your path. And that's why. And it's better. It's better when they can just be released and just be gone. So that happens quite frequently with all of us, but in this case, it's going, because there was such an interaction when the events with which this stuff is associated were pretty intense during those lifetimes. Parts of you are holding on to it, but as it gets released, the light will come into those parts of your emotional body, and the awarenesses of why they, positive, uplifting awarenesses will replace the heavier things. And that's my short answer to it. It's harder, otherwise I'd go into a long explanation, but that's what you're doing. You're letting it go so that the true patterns of you can manifest, and it can end, because this is going to be the year, as Paula was talking about. It really is the year of things. I say the spring, but it's where the blossoming is happening, the energies of opportunity, and for that to happen for all of us, this stuff has to be gone. And sometimes it takes this form that you're going through. And yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I wish, you will get through it. You will. And on the other side, I think you probably even, it's hard to tell time on this thing, so don't hold me to this, but as you get into the Christmas week, you'll start sensing some of the possibilities and the energies, and then there'll be a little bit of a dip after the new year, and then it'll start going positive again. And as much as you can, even if you're, I say even especially if you don't feel like it, immerse yourself in the light, fill your bubble with light, like we talk about in the meditations we have there and use whatever method you have that works for you. Keep doing that, clear it out, and it will speed up the process.
Thank you, Jeff.
You're welcome, and just bless you. Good times are coming. So, thank you again. That's why we're here. All right. I'm going to move on to Marci next. Marci told me, and I misunderstood. I had my volume really low on my speaker. I was still configuring everything up. And she was talking about some event that was happening in Hawaii. I thought she said they had a zombie warning. So I thought it was a tsunami warning. Anyway, with that note, Marci, please share. What do you have and what's going on? And I'd love to hear from you.
Oh, it's cool to hear everybody felt that shift that we've gone through, because it's really I don't think I've ever experienced this before, to have so many days in a row that weren't like a roller coaster. It's just so beautiful. What I did was I did a fast over Thanksgiving, and I was here by myself. I had like 4 days by myself. So I did a fast, and I think if I can remember back, a big chunk of stuff came off during that fast, and it it just like opened it up. It opened everything up, and it just made everything so much smoother, like emotionally and mentally. I was really surprised because I've fasted before, and this has never been like this. So it's worth it for anybody that feels like trying it. It makes a big difference.
Fasting can be very, and it certainly was for you. I agree with you that you did have that thing happen, and you were ready for it, and that just corresponded with the time you're doing the fast. Kay used to like to do fasting because what it does is as we fast, if we do it and there's certainly we got to watch how we do it if we have medical issues, but if we check to make sure we're doing it all correctly, and if we need to check with our doctor, we do. But when we do that, what happens is when we don't eat for a while, we just have water or whatever the minimums are that we are having. Our frequency raises because we're not bringing in food with the earthly energies with it, and it allows us to have stuff just fall away. And that's what happened with you. It was a huge piece, by the way, just so you know.
Yeah, I felt it. It was amazing. Yeah. It was pretty intense, but it was so. And like you said, I don't know that it was because of that, if it was the timing or what, but it seemed like that did make a difference in raising the frequency, because I was vibrating really high, and it's just been like I've been able to have level emotions for like, however long it's been since then, and that hasn't happened for years and years. So yeah,
it would have happened anyway, just so you know, but not to the extent and not as fast as it did had you not been fasting.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, that was probably your higher guidance guiding you to do that, and it was right. And those are old patterns, and I'm just going to call it, those are patterns that do not serve you. Let's just leave it at that. That's the 411 kind of answer. That's the short version. Those are all kinds of stuff, a whole collection of them that they're associated with a time that when you needed them at the time of existence, on the earthly plane, but you don't need them now. Because you've grown so much, you have higher skills that are far better at addressing those same issues, the same challenges as those other ones were. And in fact, that's in part what's also happening with Tonya right now. She's having all these old patterns that just were part of the skill set and the dynamics of earlier, ancient, long past era. And Tonya has grown sufficiently, we all have, we have this higher knowledge, higher connections. We do things from the higher way, and we don't need this stuff anymore. And anymore, it's just we're dragging an anchor with us, and it needs to go. And that's what happened with you. So, wow, yours just fell away. It didn't get processed through your energy field.
No, I felt it at night though, because a lot of stuff happens at night, and it was. What did I do? I don't know if it would help Tonya or not, but. You know how you say bless it and let it go?
Yep.
With whatever we're feeling, and that's so that's what I've always done. But this time I added in the phrase the healing, the healed, and the act of healing. No, the healer, the healed, and the act of healing are all one thing. Mm-hmm. And when I added that in, it seemed to, it didn't put resistance on it anymore. It made it all the one, all the light. And it somehow, it was like a booster or something.
Well, that's because that's so you. That's just a reflection of that. Those words are a reflection of the nature of you and who you are and how you do things and see things. So, yeah. you added something in that, that was an affirmation of the very nature of your being and helped to, let that stuff move on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that, and I agree with Paula. It's like we're kind of in this content phase.
Mm-hmm.
There's that going on. I was, prior to this, I was like, okay, the Hawaii things, get ready, that's the direction. And it felt like to wait until this time period. And now I see this was partially why to wait to go back.
Mm-hmm.
But in that contentment phase, there's not so much push to hurry up and do it, especially when you're really blissed out.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you're seeing anything about it, because the timing was like, okay, kind of get ready, you're going to head that direction. And I was thinking I'd go to Molokai for maybe a couple weeks and kind of pave the way, and then spend more time on the Big Island. I don't know if you're seeing anything for that, or.
Well, let me put it this way, because they don't want me to, boy, I'm going to heed theirs, which is your higher guidance, your high self divine. Oh my goodness. They're all. This has really allowed you the opportunity to map a direction, to, let the spiritual winds fill your sails and guide you in the direction that you knew, perhaps very new directions. It's all depending on what you're guided to do and what your heart wants you to, what your heart, desires. So you have some real opportunities and can go several different directions, any of which will allow you to do the things you need to do. And that's all they want me to say.
Okay, so we're back to what they always say. Pretty much, you can't do it wrong. Just go ahead.
But this is especially true now, and it doesn't mean it will. Whatever path you choose won't be without challenges, because they probably will. That's the nature of our growth. Things come up that make us have to look at things that we didn't look at before. But whichever way you go, I think what it looks to me is that there are a couple of paths that are less likely, much less than they were before. I'm going to say it that way. And
couple of paths that are less likely.
Less likely. The ones that you might have chosen, had they come up and you thought about them, you might have entertained them far more than you are going to do now, because these old patterns. Yes, and.
Okay.
Yeah, and so
that's just flat. It's so totally flat.
Yeah, you really have opportunities in front of you, and whichever direction you go, you're going to start running into opportunities, and then you'll figure out from there. And once you do, then as events start unfolding and your life moves in whichever direction, even if it's a broad direction, then you'll have things come up, and then you can choose from those. They haven't quite manifested yet, so at this point, I don't know. You said it's kind of an empty palette or whatever it is. You really are having some choices that'll be coming up as things begin to unfold, and you'll know more from that. And then you can start making decisions based on once the unfoldment happens.
Okay, because right now, like we were saying, it's that content.
Yes.
Feeling, and it doesn't. There's not the urge to do anything, but also there's the sense that there is a timing involved.
There is, and you'll know it. And there isn't an urge because you're in that period of kind of a little mini bliss, Joseph Campbell bliss thing.
Yeah, I love it.
I know, and just enjoy it. And when that's done, and events start moving, the wagon starts moving again. The unfoldment will happen. So yeah, just enjoy it. Enjoy the ride here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for sharing. Wow, I'm so happy for you. That is so good to hear. And that's what happens as we let go of stuff. Then, once it's actually finally gone, then the new things can show themselves, and they will. You're going through that little mini bliss thing. I had that happen a few decades ago, out of the blue, unexpectedly. But anyway, I remember for about 2 or 3 weeks, I was in bliss land, and then eventually, things moved on, and I had to go do things. But enjoy it while you got it. So.
Okay, will
All right.
do.
All right. Well, good. And you're in the right place to do it, even Hawaii. My goodness. Just watch
Ah,
out for those
I'm
zombies, okay?
I'm at the boys right now in California, but I'm still on the ocean.
Okay. So, anyway, that's what I get for having the volume too low. Anyway. All right. Well, thank you so
Okay,
much. All right.
thank you.
The screen has rearranged itself on my end since we started. So I'm going to now move over to Franny. So, Franny, hello there. Anything to share? Anything to ask? Anything at all? What's happening?
Hi, everybody. Nice to be here tonight. I've got a couple things. Well, let me start off by saying that things have been good over the last week after the challenges of the big snowfall and power outages and stuck vehicle and la la la. Anyway, life has been good, you know. Um, I've started doing some automatic writing, and that's good. I want to stick with it. It feels like a good a good way for me to connect with my high self and with spirit helpers.
Hmm.
So I'm going to continue to do that. And a phrase that was coming across from a woman whose podcast I was listening to was the idea of heaven on earth.
Hmm.
And she'll say, what will cause you to lose your heaven on earth? What will kick you out of your heaven on earth? And so I've really been thinking a lot about that phrase because I had already been aware that I feel like I'm living in heaven on earth more days than not. I mean, I feel so blessed to have my home, my neighborhood, this part of the country. The outdoors, the wildlife. I'm really grateful for the life that I have. So heaven on earth, that's kind of there have been a couple things that have kicked me out of my heaven on earth. Um, one of them, or at least I kind of go back and forth. One of my cats is kind of sick, and so I wanted to see if you can get a little bit of a read on her. It's the feral cat, and she's always had some digestive
I was
issues.
just going to tell you that's
Um,
what it is. Yeah.
oh, yeah. Um, can you say any more about that?
I don't, boy, this is not my strong suit. This is up in Deborah's alley. But because I don't always know what I'm looking at, but it looks like a bacterial, I don't think it's a virus or anything, but a bacterial kind of some sort of an imbalance in the and you're right, she's prone to it.
Yeah.
The cat is
And
prone to it.
we just did a round of I didn't realize it was an antibiotic. I mean, it was medicine, and sometimes she has a bloody stool, there'll be
Yeah.
blood in it, and she has diarrhea a lot, and she's been missing the cat box more. So I moved the cat box to what's an inconvenient place for me, but she's using it. So but now my other cat's using it, and it's just like, oh, kitty chaos kind of thing. Like um uh that I just finished a round of antibiotics and I thought maybe I should ask for another round. And the vet has never seen the cat because she's a feral and she's not socialized at all. So I he did recommend probiotics and I've not gotten those yet. I
That's
don't
a
know
good
if those
idea.
will help or not. You think
Yes.
the probiotics will help?
Yes.
Okay, and then
They have
he
to be
didn't
the
say
right ones though. So
okay.
tune. Not every one of them is going to work well. Some can actually be kind of deleterious a little bit. Won't be it won't be good. So make sure you get the right one.
So how do I know if they're the right ones?
Oh, here's how I know. I take the whatever it is, the vial. Oh, if it's a human, because the heart knows all. I
Okay.
check and with the heart of a person and say, is this, and then we do, we can do kinesiology tests and stuff. We can't do that much with the cat, but I can put in different, if I get a where they're not resonating where if it's harmonizing, oh, okay, good. Especially a lot of times softer, that's how you know. And you'll know. And just so you know, your cat has predisposed genetically for this sort of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's,
Yeah.
you're, boy, I don't like to program things, but I think she is going to be inclined to have, you're going to have to keep your eye on her just because of the predisposed nature of, and it doesn't take much
Yeah.
for for it to happen. So yeah, probiotic would be good. And I was going to actually, I'm glad you mentioned that because I was going to, that came through to tell you that. Yes.
And I wondered if I should, the vet didn't say anything about her diet, but I wondered if I should begin feeding her raw food or something like I've been feeding her just regular canned food and I always have dry kibbles around. But she loves to hunt, so she's always looking for little rodents and stuff. And so sometimes I'll give her like hamburger in the amount that I think would be like about the size of a mouse.
Mhm.
Because she would eat too much. And then lately I've been giving her turkey and she's been eating that. So I wondered if a change in diet would help her
Yeah.
digestive system.
And just like with people, there's certain people have certain dietary mixes they need. What do you call it that? It has to be a certain amount of this and that, and it can be this protein, but not that protein, that kind of thing. You probably have a good intuition about it. This is definitely not my skill set, but I would try to
Okay.
find someone who knows how to find the dietary um, needs for special. I'm going to say your cat is a sensitive cat because of that. She is sensitive, and she has very streamlined. Let's say a normal cat, a regular cat, can have this wider spectrum of things they eat, and it'll all be okay. She's got certain strata ones and more narrower things and if she gets the wrong thing, it can really affect her. Even the stuff she hunts out in the wild. Just so you know.
Mm-hmm.
So
So I wondered if I should take her in to see the vet, even though that would require that would cause a lot of distress on her part, and likewise for me. And she'd probably yowl and fight during the whole visit, like getting her into the cat carrier, getting her to the vet. It would be really disruptive and stressful for her. Or I wondered if I should take a stool sample to a different vet and ask them to do an analysis and get like a second opinion.
what I'm getting from your guides, and mainly one of your guides, is that she needs to be seen, but you don't want to have a situation where it's not going to be positive. So you need to find someone who specializes in who really knows this stuff. And I'm getting the vet doesn't. It's generally good. Nothing wrong with the vet, but just that's
Right.
not their thing. You need someone who really specializes in this sort of thing. And maybe a stool sample will be the mechanism by which they can do it. But if you can find someone who can do that, especially, there are some people, and especially with kitty cats and animals in general, they have a lot of very practical knowledge, but they're also very intuitive. If you can find someone who's both, that would be very helpful for this kitty, who's intuitive,
Okay.
because they will know just by looking and seeing it, along with the stool sample or whatever they use, that can really help. I think it's gonna take, because the cat has these sensitivities. You're definitely gonna have to find the right. It would be best to find the right person, and not just I'll call them a GP vet.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right. Okay. Okay, well, thank you for that. Yeah, because I thought maybe their specialty is like big animals like cows and horses and stuff. So and I'm sure they work with a lot of dogs and cats. But that's great advice. So I think I'll pursue that.
And I think you'll find one. Once we put our intentions out there, you'll be able to find one. And it may take a couple people, but I get that if you can find the right person, they will be able to get the kitty on a diet that will, for the most part, keep her out of having problems.
Oh, wow, that would
Yeah,
be amazing.
mainly. I mean, occasionally stuff will still come up, I think, but because of the predisposition genetically. But she's lucky to have you
Oh,
because you care and you're going to do what you have to do to you're going to take steps to help match up, to find someone who can get the right diet, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for that. And then the second area I had was just my uh my nephew and his wife, Serena. I was just disappointed. I sent them a text saying, Happy Thanksgiving. Do you want to talk tomorrow? And, I never heard anything back. And so that hurt my feelings. And I just felt like, they're just too busy to even text. Never mind. And I called a lot of other family members and I thought I would call them, but I didn't.
Hmm.
And that's on me. I mean, I feel like I could do a better job of just saying I'm going to call them. Um, but in the meantime, Serena has started sending me these. um, Serena has started sending me these little texts.
Hmm.
And the most recent one was a couple of them were about Aurora and that she's learning to write letters and wants to write me a letter. And so yesterday she sent me a picture of Aurora writing a letter at the table that I think is for me, right?
Yeah.
And then she sent me a picture of Aurora out in the truck talking to her dad, and I couldn't see them at all. It was a weird video. It was
Hmm.
like 20 seconds long, but this is Aurora out there talking with her dad. And it's just weird. And so like it didn't really show anything. So I wondered if like this is Serena's way of, I don't know, making some sort of connection, but I don't know. So these are the ones that have wanted to borrow money. And,
Yes. Yes.
I've said, I've said, I support you and what you want to do, but I'm not going to be able to lend you money. So um, so I don't know. Do you have any insights on? I don't know how to read their behavior, I guess.
Well, boy, I don't think she knows what she's trying to do. I'm going to put it that way. She's trying to make a connection. You're correct, and trying to be open. At the same time, she's trying to find avenues for positive, so that she's trying to make connections, and she's not sure that you're at, but she doesn't not. This is kind of a little bit of a non-conscious, subconscious pattern of just trying to go out there, make connections, and see what happens, and see if some other possibility can make itself known, either through you or just by something or some aspect that she doesn't know. She's just fishing is what she's doing a little bit. That's not the right word, but just feeling out what the possibilities are now with the dynamic. And so it's not nefarious or anything. It's just being open, because she's trying to look at what let's make connections and let how it is. This is where the dynamic of our interaction is, our relationship. Let's grow on that and see what happens from there. I guess you might want to say at some level, this is my interpretation of it. I want you to know that it's not coming from them or anything. It's just to see what possibilities can show up in the future, just through
And
interactions.
does that mean relationship wise, or does that mean hoping that I would help them financially?
I think start with the relationship. Just make a connection, have a relationship, have an interaction, find out more, um, and I think this is her inner self trying to look for opportunities through other means, through how it is you can talk to somebody and grow in a relationship, and you've got this problem, and I know you're not going to loan the money, kind of thing. She knows that, but maybe you say so, maybe as the interactions, and this again, her inner self prodding her to do this, to see if perhaps you have some insights or some knowledge that in future conversations might show up that could help her, pursue other possibilities, to make things more positive in their life.
Mm-hmm.
But nothing, it's not nefarious or negative in that respect. It's just her inner self prodding her to make connections and see where they go. I'm just going to say it in
Okay.
that manner. Yes.
Okay.
And she doesn't know what she's going to do with it. So,
Right. Okay.
okay.
Okay. So I'll definitely I'll definitely reach back out and
Yeah. Yeah.
see if I can spend some time with them by,
Yeah.
by video chat. I'd like to do that. Yeah, it was just kind of random stuff she was sending. And then when I sent the text on Thanksgiving, she didn't respond. So I was like, what the heck?
She didn't know what to
Um,
do with it.
she didn't know. I mean, it just said Happy Thanksgiving.
You
That's
didn't.
all it said.
Now what do I do? Do I respond? Do I rethink? Do I, she does, how sometimes what she could say, that's why her inner self is having her just go out there, start doing some stuff, let some stuff happen and see, make connections and then see where those connections go. But at the
Okay.
conscious level, I don't know that she even knows she's doing that.
Okay. All right. Great. Well, that's all on that. If there's anything from my high self, I'd love to hear that, or any other guides or ancestors or uh,
Interestingly, from your high self, and this applies to pretty much everybody here, just so you know, and this is, I'm going to go refer back to Kay, because Kay used to talk about this. This is sometimes the time where, this is the silent time where things just rest and in the stillness, new things can emerge later. And we're moving into the spiritual, very sacred spiritual stillness time. Even if we got stuff being like, we've talked about here where we're dealing with stuff coming up and being released, the stillness allows this to happen. We're in this period where that energy is there, even if we don't know it, and that's what you're in.
mm,
That's where you're in the spiritual. It's a very special time for you, and,
mm,
um, and more. Some things will come up, some interactions, but I'm going to call it that. I don't have a better word. This spiritual stillness of the season, and just to be connecting with the light, being in the light as much as we can, in spite of sometimes for some, what's going on, just to be in the stillness. But that's what it is. And I'll quit talking because I can't say it I'm trying to find better ways of describing it, but I can't. So I'm going to leave it at that.
mhm,
Yeah.
mhm. Well, that fits. It
Yeah.
feels like a kind of not just stillness, but kind of coherence where
Yes.
things are in order, you might say, or that's not the right phrase either. But anyway, yeah, it feels like a very, very good time. I'm loving it.
Yeah, and in the stillness, the old kind of what we've been doing the old year, because the new year energies do come in, and as they come in, and of course our life path is dovetailed into the events of the of life, of the world, and of the soul group. Then we move with it. But the stillness is such a special, sacred, and important time. I think of it as akin to the silence. When we do the meditation in the silence is incredibly powerful. And anyone who's ever had, when we're called to do it, it's so important to do it. So enjoy. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
You're welcome.
Oh, Franny, this is Jessica.
Yeah.
Um,
Hi.
hi, I had something about your cat. Um,
Okay.
I've I've worked with this lady out of Texas and she does everything remote. And it's called Perfectly Holistic and it has three R's. And her name is Pam. But she
What is
does her name's Pam and it's
Pam?
perfectly holistic with three R's.
I love it.
Okay.
And then she does free consultations and she can let you know if she could help you. 'Cause
Wow.
she, yeah, so I've worked, I mean, I had her do stuff with my cat and I think it really helped him.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you so
So
much.
yeah, check that out.
Wow, how quickly the answers come. Thank you, Jessica. That is
Right?
awesome. And three R's. I love it.
I
Perfect.
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Wow. Wow, that's wonderful. Thank you. Okay, Pat, do you have anything to share? Anything to say at all? Any questions? Anything at all?
Well, I can tell you that I'm pretty deep in someplace else right now, but it's a meditation. And as we progressed with the people, I kept going kind of deeper and deeper. And it's like I try to pull myself out. And no, you're gonna stay here. And I was enjoying it. I've loved every minute of it. So I really don't exactly know what that's totally about. And if my guides have something that they want to tell me right now, or if you do, but it's been I'll call it, like, use the word blessing, because that's how it felt.
Well, yeah, the only thing I have to share is nothing right at this moment. I think as you're processing through and just probably in our normal interactions over the next few days or weeks or whatever, we phone call, if something comes up, they being your guides and I think your high self as well, just to percolate in the moment you're in, and we can talk later.
Okay, yeah, I mean, it felt like I was very much a part of what was going on, and probably helping facilitate somewhat.
Hmm.
Maybe that's not the correct terminology for it, but that was what I was supposed to be doing as part of the group tonight.
Yeah, it's called holding space.
Uh-huh.
You were doing a bit of that, plus some other processing. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well,
Thank
that's it.
you.
That's all I have to say. Thank you,
Thank you.
everybody. Love y'all.
All right, well, thank you, Pat. Wow, this is different. This is good. Well, my oh my, this is, and I'm going to go around it again with everyone here in just a moment, but just this is a beautiful season. It's a season of upliftment. It's also the season where all the old patterns, as we've talked about, they go away. And it's important that we don't hold on to them and get caught up in that thing, feeling like, oh my goodness, we're going into the holiday season and all this stuff's going, we feel the the old patterns leaving, the heavier patterns leaving, and forget to look at the new stuff coming in. And so it's so important. And for everyone, if you feel stuff coming up, just bless it as best you can, acknowledge it. It's there. This is what it feels like. It's happening in the now, and this is part of how we feel of what's going on now, or maybe how we feel about ourselves now. But it's not. It's who we used to be. It's what used to be. It's the patterns of the past, and to let them go. Sometimes it takes a while, because we really are moving into this new, finer, vibratory energies. It's some new blossoming. I like what Paula said. I like that image. In fact, when she said it, I saw this field of flowers, all these different colored flowers. It's beautiful sunlight coming upon them, and that's coming into the soul group and for us individually. And it'll happen each in our own way, but it really is coming in. So whatever challenges we might be going through now, just know that's just for this period, to get rid of those old patterns, so that those old vibrations aren't going to be anchoring us down, holding us down, and we can move upwards to that balloon, that hot air balloon that my guides always show me, so that we can let go of the ballast, so we can go higher. So, wow. It's just such a wonderful time tonight, and wonderful just that everyone had a chance to share. And in sharing, it helps us release things. We're acknowledging them. We're saying what they are. It doesn't mean that that's who we are, but we're letting, and in the process of doing that, it lets the light in. It just does. Sometimes, and I used to find that with my friend Kay when she was around. She's passed, and although she's around all over, I see her now more than I did before. But we would talk. I'd have this thing, and just in the process of talking, she wouldn't offer any explanation. She didn't offer anything other than we're just talking about it. And next thing I know, it's gone, or mainly gone, or it's sped up. And I think that can happen for all of us as we just share, as you all have tonight. So thank you so much for doing that. And it's such a blessing just to hear and be part of all your lives, and especially in this beautiful Christmas, the birth of light. And I was supposed to say it, and one of your guides mentioned it. I think it was talking about heaven on earth. That was you, Franny. And I know you already know this, but if you look at the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Gospel according to Thomas, now a lot of people get caught up in Mark 13 That's the end of the world stuff, when Jesus was with their disciples and they were all gathered around. And when's the end going to come? Because they were expecting it to happen. They were waiting for the whole Roman Empire to fall. That's what they were waiting for. They all wanted the Romans to be gone so they could go live their life in their Jewish community. And we have the usual things. Times will come, and it won't come through expectation, and and there'll be signs, but they won't be the signs of the time. Anyway, all those things we already know. But the Gospel of Thomas has kind of a similar flavor. He asks, when will they end? When will the end come? What will it look like? Basically, I'm paraphrasing. And and Jesus says, the end will not come through expectation. He says, the kingdom of the Father is spread upon the earth, and men do not see it. That's a totally different connection to the divine and the world as a manifestation of the divine. And that is the whole part and parcel of being the world, but not of it. Live from our connection. And that's what all of us are being guided to do. That is the walk of the masters. That is what we are, all the path we're on, wherever we are on it. And just know that's where the glide path is heading for all of us, is in that connection of seeing it. And once we will increasingly, it won't suddenly happen overnight, sometimes faster or slower, but it will increasingly be part of our lives as we move on, as the unfoldment happens day by day, month by month, year by year. So the divine wanted that shared, that the kingdom of the Father, or the kingdom of the divine, of the spiritual, is spread upon the earth, and men do not see it because we get caught up in the stuff. And so with that, I'm going to go around, and just if anyone has any last minute thoughts, questions, anything at all, as always, because I know things come up in the last minute. It's like, oh, I wish I would have said this or asked that or whatever. So I'm going to start with Marci. Any last comments, thoughts, questions, anything at all?
After what you just said, all I can say is glory be.
Oh, thank you. Okay, now I'm going to
Thank you all.
Thank you so much. And boy, I'm just going to leave it at that. Tonya, do you have any last thoughts, questions, anything at all, whatever you have?
Just thank you to everybody, because tonight's been really helpful, so I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for being here. What a blessing. Jessica, any last minute thoughts, questions? Again, anything at all?
Yeah, this is a really beautiful call. I do have one other question. So I sprained my toe really bad yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm wondering is that the universe kind of telling me I need to slow down, or am I getting in my way?
It's kind of a mixed thing. I'm going to say it this way. It's kind of hard to talk about it. So my short answer is going to just be aware of what you're doing. Yeah, it can be, don't get in your own way. It can also be mindful of be mindful in the moment of what you're doing. Be mindful of your intentions. It's a reminder of that, because things, I think, some opportunities are coming up for you, that it's really important that you do have that awareness and mindfulness. I'm going to call it that.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Paula, any last thoughts? Anything at all?
I just will echo what everyone said. A beautiful call tonight. Great input from everyone. And I'm just still sitting here content. So thank you to everyone.
Well, thank you. And I love your field. By the way, thank you for sharing that. When you said it, they showed it to me. So I was like, wow, this is beautiful.
That was cool. Yeah.
Okay. Franny, any last minute thoughts, questions? Again, anything you have to share?
No, just great to see and hear from everybody, and blessings to all. Blessings to all.
Oh, thank you. And same to you. And last, and certainly not least at all, is Pat, any last moment thoughts, questions, anything?
Now that I'm a little bit more with it, I can share with you that my dear native friend that we've done so many vision quests and everything with, and she's an artist in Minnesota. She's been working with the spirit people, and they told her to tell me that I was a woman with the big heart. I'm the big-hearted woman. Yeah. So I thought, oh, I gotta share this with my spiritual family.
Well, I agree. Yeah, everyone knows you. That's true of you. That certainly is true.
I was like, oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, it feels good when you know, yes, it feels good when other, we can have others mention that to us and we can just be happy to be the creation that God made us.
And it's pretty simple.
Yeah. Just yes, be that. Yes.
Thank
Well,
you, Jeff.
well,
Thank you for
thank you. Merry Christmas to everyone. Thank you all for being here and sharing tonight. It's just uplifting, and it really does. Just our being together like this really does bring the light to everyone, and it just not only do we help ourselves, but we help the soul group by anchoring this energies in and having it go out in ways to bless everyone. So again, thank you all. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and until next month, well, it'll be the 9th, by the way. I'm going to do it the second week because it's the first the Thursday is too close after the New Year, and just people will have visitors, so it'll be, I think, the 9th. I'll send the notice out. Anyway, blessings and light to all of you, and until next time, namaste.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Merry
Bye-bye.
Christmas.